Firefighters unearthed a small hand from the sand. An 8-year-old kid had buried himself while digging a sand pit. His father was trying to dig him out with a shovel. The fire chief quickly pushed him aside and started digging by hand. Knowing tools could cause serious injury, they blazed wooden planks on the sand surface and set up barriers around the pit to prevent further collapses. After what felt like an eternity, they uncovered a small hand. The chief shouted for everyone to dig faster. Moments later, the boy's head finally emerged.
Uncovering his head now!
Bring the oxygen tank up to him. Cruz, can you get that mask on him?
Yeah, you got it. It's all right. Is he breathing?
By this point, the child had been buried for a full 10 minutes. The father's lack of caution and basic common sense had nearly cost his son's life. Firefighters placed an oxygen mask on the boy and called out to him repeatedly. Minutes passed with no response. The team feared the worst. But just as hope was fading, the boy gasped loudly, taking his first breath. As the father rushed forward, he was stopped by the crew to ensure no further disruptions. Hopefully, this incident taught him an unforgettable lesson.
Nico!
The car's snow chain flew off and hit the man's face, leaving it almost unrecognizable. A few minutes earlier, the fire department received an emergency call, and the location was right outside the station. This truly set a new record for the fastest response time. It turned out that a snow chain from a car driving at high speed had come loose and flew straight into the man's face. The crowd turned the man over, and the sight before them made everyone take a sharp breath. They carefully removed the metal chain from his face.
Easy. Oh, God! Get it off!
Leader!
All right, here, let me pack it. I need gauze. Help me! Please! Hey!
They quickly applied first aid to stop the bleeding.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
They then placed the man on a stretcher, loaded him into the ambulance, and rushed him to the hospital.
New record.
A boy lost 2 fingers in a firecracker explosion. The firecrackers were so much fun, the boy was crying from excitement. It turned out they were having a firework battle. The boy tried to light 5 at once. Unfortunately, they exploded in his hand. Medics rushed to check on him, but his friends said they couldn't find the blown-off fingers anywhere. Firefighters quickly called for a thermal imaging camera to aid the search, while medics started treating his wound. Meanwhile, a group of kids nearby continued setting off fireworks, completely ignoring the chaos. The firefighters were speechless. To prevent more injuries, the boy's friends shouted at them to stop, but they didn't care and almost shot at the paramedic's face.
Hey! Watch it!
Knock it off! Damn it!
You got him! Come on! Let's go! Go! Let's go! Go!
Luckily, it was just a scrape. The paramedic helped rinse the wound. After a 50-meter search, they finally located the missing fingers. If reattached in time, the boy's hand should still be functional. The man's leg was tightly trapped in the winch. The firefighters received the call. As the fishing boat slowly docked, everyone was stunned when they boarded. Upon inspection, they saw that half of the man's leg was caught. The situation worsened as an artery had been ruptured. With heavy bleeding, the man went into shock. After preparing for the rescue, the team leader immediately ordered the machine to start, but the next second...
Cruz! All right! Sorry, you okay? Yeah, my hand's stuck in there. It's got my glove.
Luckily, the team leader was fine, though his glove had been pulled into the machine.
All right, try it again.
Lieutenant, no way. We gotta disassemble this thing.
Cruz, we don't have enough time. I just gave you an order. Now do it.
As the machine started again, the team leader's face twisted in pain, but fortunately, his hand was finally pulled free. Then, with everyone's effort, the man was finally rescued safely. A girl was clutching her eye in pain. A fishing hook lodged in her eyelid. My worst fear had come true. Her father explained that he had only turned his head for a moment when his daughter suddenly let out a piercing scream. The situation appeared to be quite tricky. The paramedic calmly reassured the girl, guiding her to lie down on a nearby bench. She asked the girl to uncover her left eye, revealing the embedded hook. It was clear the hook needed to be stabilized before transporting her to the hospital, but there was a risk of it digging deeper during the process. The paramedic held the girl's hand hand, speaking soothingly to keep her calm and still, while her assistant deftly snipped the fishing line. They carefully secured the hook, wrapping it with layers of gauze. To immobilize the injured eye, they needed to bandage the uninjured one as well, since both eyes naturally moved together. They then helped the girl to the hospital, with her father silently following behind. He was probably already thinking about how he was going to explain this to his wife. A man had a giant spider pulled from his mouth. Not long ago, paramedics received a frantic call from a woman screaming for help, saying her husband was about to die. The man was sprawled on the couch, his swollen tongue protruding from his mouth, struggling to breathe. The paramedics initially suspected an allergic reaction, but the woman insisted her husband had no history of allergies. Their dinner that evening had been nothing unusual. It wasn't until they pried open his mouth that the culprit revealed itself. Both responders felt their skin crawl. Deep in the man's throat, a giant spider was crawling around. Using forceps, they carefully gripped the spider and slowly removed it. But the man wasn't out of danger yet. His blood pressure was plummeting. He was on the brink of anaphylactic shock. Acting quickly, the paramedics administered a shot of adrenaline, immediately reversing the symptoms. The man was finally out of danger.
What was in there?
There we go. Deep breaths. That's good. The paramedic rolled up the man's sleeve and froze. The man's arm was twisted 90 degrees. When asked how he got injured so severely, the man explained he had fallen down a staircase while riding a scooter. Upon examination, the paramedic realized there was no pulse in the man's arm. The man looked confused, but the paramedic warned him that this was a critical condition. Without immediate realignment of the bone, his life could be at risk. However, the man admitted he was afraid of the pain. The paramedic administered a painkiller, reassuring him that it wouldn't hurt, and counted to 3 before starting the procedure.
1, 2. Sorry. Yeah, I know that sucked, but it's over now.
Although the bone was successfully realigned, the man couldn't help but groan in pain. Wasn't it supposed to not hurt? A man was impaled by a tree branch and left hanging in the air. During a chain reaction car accident, a woman was rear-ended. Although she was unharmed, her car struck a pedestrian, flinging him onto a tree. The man was critically injured and barely conscious, requiring immediate assistance. The fire captain quickly ordered the team to begin rescue efforts, knowing the man might not last much longer. Someone needed to climb up and reduce the load on his body. A female firefighter stepped forward, saying she could climb. With the captain's approval, she ascended the tree without delay and positioned herself above the injured man, lifting him to alleviate the pressure. Below, other team members arrived with a ladder and chainsaw.
Cap. Thanks.
While securing the man with safety ropes, they carefully cut through the branch, impaling him. The man was then lowered safely using a pulley system, placed on a stretcher, transported to the hospital. With timely treatment, his chances of survival appeared high.